welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Arsenal Tricks Galaxy podcast. Joining me is Mr. Tom. Hello, Mr. Tom. How you doing today, pal?
You forgot the name of your own podcast for a second, then, didn't you?
Yeah, it's all right.
It is. It's fine, but I still wasn't going to let you off with it.
It's like a Russ and Spencer's. Who are these guys?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. So I'm not going to ask you to name your podcast every 5 minutes. Don't worry, I won't do that. I won't do that
Okay.
to you. Just get it right once, right now, and I'll shut up about it for the rest of eternity.
Beep that beep 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 beep. Hi guys, welcome to the Arsenal Tricks Galaxy podcast. Joining me today is Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
Hello, Alonso. As I usually say, it is an honour to be here on the Arsenal Truex Galaxy podcast. First time. Know the name of the show I'm on. Saying that, I always forget the name of my own show. So,
Which one?
I believe one time on We All Love Leeds, I said hello and welcome to the Full Nelson podcast. And then I'm sure one time on the Full Nelson podcast, I said, hello and welcome to We All Love Leeds. So I've been there, despite the fact that I was going to roast you for it. But I've done it myself. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I just got, I went to get a haircut today. And obviously, I felt confident about the haircut getting done, and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So, that said, maybe next time.
Well, what was you aiming for?
A haircut I got a while back, and it's short on the sides, right? And a fade in the size number two on the sides, and she didn't do that. So, I get it. It's kind of hard switching barbers. After maybe 4 years, 3 years ago into him. Because, money's tight here in the States, Tom, and things aren't as cheap as they once were. So I just had to go to a cheaper barber shop, hoping for the best, and the person who cut my hair last time quit. So, yeah. Anyway.
Did they quit because I had to cut your hair?
Perhaps, Tom.
Maybe.
No, it was a closest salon to her house. To be fair, I get it. Gas is expensive as well. So, fair play to her. But it was a good time. This one, however, was a little bit different. And good thing about that is that nobody's the same in society.
No problem. Do excuse me, I've just got to retrieve my beverage.
No problem, pal.
Which turns out it was next to me the whole time.
So, Tom.
Cast in the dark, you can't see everything.
Right, who are these guys? Exactly, Russ. Is Alonso and Tom are these guys you say who asked?
Hello, Russ. Oh, Russ, I might as well say I've considered. I'll say considered. I'm probably going to eliminate the what happened on this day segment to make room for you being around for SmackDown. So we're going to do that. Keeping the birthday thing though. I like the birthday thing.
Oh right, yeah, it's a pretty cool concept because I think it's different. Maybe you hear about what's that thing? Culture, pop culture, right? And you see names of different wrestlers that you've heard in the past, or maybe recently, or in the 80s or 70s, or maybe 60s that ring a bell. Maybe they're a father of a current wrestler, and see us take about. And you name those names, and you hear you all of a sudden catch your eye or see a name that you haven't heard in a long time pop up on a birthday. Guess whose birthday is it today? So that's a cool concept, Tom.
Well, yeah, the idea was I wanted it to be a bit of variety because rather than just going, all right, this happened on Raw this week, it feels like then you're just talking about the same 20 names every week.
Right.
Whereas, like for example, there's some gentlemen on some others ones who we rarely ever get to talk about, never get to talk about. So, excuse me. So hopefully that'll be of minor interest. But yeah, still messing around with the formula anyway. So it's
So
not a real
Tom.
show, so it doesn't matter. I'll go back to it next week if I want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Guys on the internet talking wrestling and putting photos up. Doesn't matter. Sorry, host, Mr. Host.
So Tom, there was a big game this weekend featuring my Arsenal Gunners and Tottenham
Yep.
Hot Dumps. So, as a fan of neither one of them, and you mostly talk on Arsenal um, podcast because you're a good friend of the shows that we talk on, tell us how the game went as a neutral fan, if you don't mind.
My understanding of the game through as I said on Monday night on the Trip Gary show, my understanding based on what the statistics say, and I know the eye test is completely different, but I also had the ear test of basically listening to Gary and Ryan and my eyes are watching them watch the game.
And
So
Liam, right?
yeah, exactly, Liam, exactly, very good. But so my opinion of it was you were second best in every single department of the football match,
Mhm.
apart from the one that actually matters. Who scored the most goals? And it was Arsenal.
Yeah, Tom. I was always watching the game with them in a way, and listening to them talk about it. You know, you're right because at times you wonder, especially Gary, in the way he talks about the game, watching the game, and Liam. It seems like Ryan was the most relaxed out of the three, and it wasn't every time. It really was as a fan watching at home. It didn't help that of course, there's a stupid time delay. But you kind of had a feeling of where the game was going to go had it not been for Tottenham's mistakes, and it proved costly. Though, Tom, what was your opinion, right, about Tottenham having most of possession on during both halves? Do you think that they're good enough to maybe score more goals, or do you think they're just unlucky, or do you think Arsenal's defending was just that good?
Um,
Um,
no, I actually think based on what it sounds like from what I feel I can be fairly informed by hearing the opinions of multiple football fans. To be fair, I get the impression if that game happened tomorrow and it played out with the same stats, Tottenham would have fucked you up.
mhm,
But on that given Sunday, they did not fuck you up. You won.
yeah.
But and to be honest, Alonso, at the end of April, that's all that matters. Performances are irrelevant when it comes to just getting over the line.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Alonso. A good performance gives you the best chance of getting over the line. But the reality is, Tottenham had a good performance. They didn't get over the line. They didn't win. And you didn't, and you did.
It's I'm gonna say it's interesting you say it, Tom, but it seems like like Washington in the States, and it was Lee Dixon calling the game, and he was like, yeah, when Raya got that pass to the Tottenham player and he scored, obviously, you know, he was like, now you're giving them a reason to come back and win the game now, and they had the goal. They do they gave up a penalty to to Son, and he, of course, always scores. And now he scores 3-2, and you think, oh God, here we go again. The same old Arsenal got in the goal, and then they come back in and make a game out of it. Um, what were your? Do you think that Arsenal fans at the end of the day get too carried away with the scoreline, or do you think that them they had every right to just be upset about how the game should have been closed off with the 60th minute? Do you think that Arsenal could do better in the future by maybe limiting those mistakes? I know Liam. He, in my opinion, he over exaggerates a lot of what he says. Granted, he's a diehard fan, but I think when those kind of fans, they kind of lose their composure a little bit because
To be
and,
fair
and
to him, sorry to interrupt you.
uh,
I will defend him because to some extent he is doing what people on that channel want him to do.
uh,
Like for example, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, like Stefan actively wants the ranting to happen because it amuses him. Like he literally calls it Ryan rants, and
uh,
when Ryan does it, so I I do think he's highly strung because of the pressure, the situation, and stuff. I'm
right.
not gonna say there's no pressure on Arsenal. Of course there is. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like the pressure's different. Like, I sit there sometimes and think, why are you all getting upset? Even if you finish second, you're in the Champions League. Why are you all getting upset? Because my team might not even be in the Premier League next year. The fucking audacity of you Arsenal fans to act like the world's going to end tomorrow because you didn't beat Aston Villa or something like that.
Probably will end tomorrow, Tom. I'm joking. But I get your point. I think we as fans came so close last year, and Tony will always talk about web holding and all that stuff. But I think what happens is like we see flashbacks, right? Whenever Villa beat Arsenal last year, like, oh, here we go again. To be around the top of the league for as long as they have. Now, I'm not saying that City don't deserve to win, or Liverpool to come back and make the season out of it. But I think sometimes you had that passion, and sometimes that passion can get a little bit too much of you, which is fine. I remember there was a joke in the chat that, and Ryan, I'm not surprised. I mean, sorry, Liam, I'm not surprised you haven't had a heart attack yet. Or how many heart attacks have you had since we've been watching the game? But it's that you're proud of or in my case, also fan like you say, you're a proud Leeds fan. It'd be exciting today, pal. So I think we have every right as fans to react how we want to. Um, I know if you probably see my come on a video with those guys, you probably see me doing the same thing. Um, I'm sure you have too as well, Tom.
Sorry, say that last part again so I didn't catch it.
I'm sure you feel the same way whenever you're on watch along, and you get upset or you get really really excited because they scored a goal.
It's hard to say because Leeds rarely score whenever I've been on watch alongs at it, but I get your point. Like, it's hard to actually control. Like, no. It's hard to know because basically, like, if I did a watch along and it was Leeds versus Man United, the language that would come out of my mouth would be foul. I do not like that team.
It's funny to say that because I watch the games with my mom sometimes, and she'll say shit, dude. Like she'll cuss a lot too. But I think she gets it from me. But it's all about getting really passionate about your team, and sometimes people don't understand it, Tom. Um, and it's really funny seeing other people do it as well because I can relate, and it's a chuckle sometimes. So Tom, we all know that Leicester got promoted. Some people don't like that. Some people do. What are your thoughts? I'm sure you shared it on Monday on the trip, but for viewers that don't know much about Leeds, talk to us about how you feel as a team is in a championship like them. How do you feel about them getting promoted? Is it correct, or do you think that they're just going to go down again? Or what are your hopes? What do you feel about Leicester?
Okay, well, I mean, it's kind of two different questions or two different answers because on grass, congratulations, Leicester, you got over the line. In my opinion, I saw on social media, I saw Leicester fans saying we, um, sorry, I'll find the word they used, which I
No
took issue
problem.
with. Right, sorry, just I want to get it right. I want to get the spirit of what I actually questioned. Sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry. Fuck. God damn it. Sorry. Anyway. No.
No
Yeah.
problem at
They
all.
said. No. Apologies. They said they were talking about didn't Leeds didn't prevent our charge to the title. Now, in my opinion, you didn't charge to the title. You literally fell over the line.
Mhm.
Like it was the racing equivalent of crawling across the line. You didn't charge your way to anything. You were 17 points clear and we caught you. Yeah, sure, we fucked it up after, but you did not bulldoze your way to anything. Anyway, but yeah, so congratulations to them for falling over the line, like crawling over the line at a snail's pace eventually.
Mhm.
But no, I obviously I'm going to feel they should have been punished for failing
Mhm.
financial fair play. Because again, I've said it 100 times before, I sound like a broken record. It feels like Leeds never ever benefit from any of the punishments, but we always get the fallout from it.
Right.
Like everyone does the crime, and we suffer because they did the crime. But then their punishment, which in my opinion never actually punishes them to a detrimental effect on their club, but then it basically we're not going to survive in the Premier League because of any team getting punished for cheating in the Premier League.
Hmm.
It's wrong. It's genuinely wrong. And the worst part is we will probably fail fair play next year because we're going to need to find loads of money for pay for the players that we've got. And then teams
Damn.
will look at us like, "Oh, they cheated." It's like, well, of course we've overspent because we never got where we should be.
Hmm. So, Tom, do you think that Leicester will get pointed at now?
Yeah.
They get pointed at right next year, right?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many because the league just generally makes it up. There's no set standard for it. But generally speaking, to my understanding, the second they actually set foot in the Premier League officially as a club again, they will be deducted points.
Wow,
Doesn't help me.
that's incredible.
It'll help Everton or whoever else is going to probably be in a relegation battle next year.
Nottingham
But
Forest.
well, yeah, exactly. But nah. Look, it just makes me think more and more football's not for me. There's something inherently insidious about it all.
Okay, Tom, I have a question for you. How do you feel about football clubs, right? Like Sheffield United and Burnley.
I don't think they should exist.
What do you think they don't play with heart, knowing that this year they could have been relegated to begin with? And do you think that Vincent Company is a not very good coach?
Um, I don't think it's so much that he's not a good coach because he won the championship. I
Mhm.
think the reality is that his team is very overpowered in one division, but it's
Mhm.
very underpowered in the other division, uh, the one up, obviously. And I think he's used to people being enamoured by him because he's Vincent Company. Oh, you're a Premier League winner. You're a legend of Man City, like the new Man City, like since I had money.
Mhm.
Like, because he was essentially like their first captain when they got the money,
Right.
from what I can tell, everyone I remember anyway. I could be wrong. So he's used to like everyone going, "Oh, Vincent, you're great," and like he did an okay job managing it elsewhere and stuff. Whereas Burnley are not going to get the favourable decisions that he was used to getting as a player for Man
Mhm.
City. So he's reacted to that. He's been sent off a few times this season, presumably because of that. But I'd be lying if I said I cared what happened to Burnley. But I'd love
Right.
them to sue Everton.
Hmm. Do you think that teams that get brought up and then go back down don't have enough fight in them, like in their heart, or do you think they just know knowing the odds of them staying up aren't realistic, so therefore they don't put much of a big fight?
Well, I fully expect Ipswich to win the Premier League next year.
I'm sure Stefan
I,
will be
I
proud.
think they will. I think they will. You're going to say it's a ludicrous take, but surely it was a ludicrous take saying that they'd win League One and then get promoted from the Championship. I mean, it's not rare. It's happened a few times. Like I think Wolves did it. I think Southampton did it a couple, like 10 years ago or something like that. But it's amazing what momentum can give you. But
Mhm.
I just obviously it really depends on their recruitment and stuff like this. You make your own luck. They made themselves a lot of luck. Uh, they're either going to win it and I'll look really clever, or they won't win it and they'll probably get relegated.
But Tom, but I like those success stories during the past years that I've witnessed teams like Wolves stay up. Because I know Wolves came back down, then they stayed up, and they continue to stay up. Teams like Brighton, teams like my
Brighton,
Villa,
the
they come
reason
down.
Brighton are where they are, right, is because their owner loves Brighton Club, like supports Brighton. And he basically spent loads of his personal money, and he spent about $500 million of his own money, and he's basically said, "You'll never need to pay me that back." It's
Oh
basically
wow.
like loads of clubs. Loads of clubs would love for the owner to go, "I'll spend 500 million and never expect it to be paid back," because he just wanted the club in the Premier League. But the thing you'll discover this year is they've kind of hit their peak in that.
Hmm.
I'm not necessarily saying they're immediately going, but there'll be relegation battle next year. Not what I mean. But there's only so much Brighton can get before you on a Saturday you can play Man City and you might beat them. But over 38 games, they're not spending the money that comes with winning the title, are they? Generally
Hmm.
speaking. Um, so plus they found that playing Thursday and Sunday is a lot different to playing Saturday, then the next Saturday, then the next Saturday. You got to have a deeper squad.
Hmm. Yeah, and uh, but I like how other clubs have found a way to stay up. Also, like Villa got sent down a couple of years ago, then they came back up and they finished third. They're going to finish fourth this year. Um, so clubs like who else? Tom have recently that stayed up. There's Brighton,
Brentford.
Brentford. Yeah, Brentford. They finished eighth right last year, and of course, like you said, they've hit their peak. Um, but they've had quite. They've been known to be some good clubs as well. Um,
Brentford
which
will trend backwards, by the way.
I think so.
Yeah.
They saw Ivan Tony, right? They saw Ivan Tony.
They won't get
They,
as much for Ivan Tony as they would have got a couple of years ago. And
mm,
I know they bought him a couple of years ago, but I suggest my point is more the caliber of Ivan Toney would have netted them more money. Whereas now teams are not going to want to spend because of this financial fair play bullshit.
Yeah. And you're also seeing
Real reason they didn't sell him in January, Alonso, was because they knew no one would pay for him. And they're going to
price
find out in
tag
the summer as well. Sorry to interrupt.
because the price tag's too high. They want 80 million pounds for him, correct?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They ain't going to get £80 million. I'm not necessarily saying he's not an £80 million player. Like, when you see the money that people have been sold for, yeah, by all means, try and get 80 million. But in 2024, when teams are going to be looking at, well, am I actually going to make a profit on Ivan Toney when I eventually try to sell him? Or how much am I going to lose in 2 years' time when I do sell Ivan? Because Ivan Toney's he's not the youngest striker, is he? I don't know how old he is, but
I think he's late 20s, I believe.
right. So you do have a couple of years in him, like, to be fair to him, but it just feels very. They're probably in line for a disappointment.
Yeah, because so it came out the other day that Marcus Rashford or Arsenal are looking for are in for Marcus Rashford.
Really?
Now, as an Arsenal fan, you've seen Miguel Arteta work wonders with Granit Xhaka, like this year, Kai Havertz. We all know what Rashford is capable of, but it seems like he's fallen away a little bit at United recently. Um, is there a player still in your time of Marcus Rashford?
I mean, potentially.
Hmm.
The thing with Marcus Rashford is the thing I don't like in the conversation about him is when people say to him, like, oh, it's a politics thing, so I don't mean to get into this, but basically, because he took on he basically tried to bully the Prime Minister into having the government provide children with free school meals during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and successfully, to his credit. And but then the people that didn't, basically, the people who didn't like the politics of it, which again I find, like, why do you not want children to be fed? Like,
Hmm.
that was my, like whether you like the Prime Minister or you don't like the Prime Minister, or you don't like someone having a go at the Prime Minister because children, why do you not want children? That was my question to people. It was like, what have you got against children getting fed by the government?
Mm-hmm.
Like, sort of, like, should be a basic requirement. But anyway, but then they were turning it round on Marcus Rashford, going like, when he weren't playing well, say when he scored a goal, people didn't give a fuck what he was doing. But the first thing, when he had a game where he was like a 6 out of 10, you know what I mean, like bang average, doesn't score, it'd be, oh well, if he focused more on his football than on feeding children, which again, same thing to football fans. Why do you not want children to be fed? Why is Manchester United more important than children being fed?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've never said, I keep it very separate, but I would never imply that because Willie Nonto spent time at the children's hospital that he wasn't focusing on his game. It's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. The very notion of it is absurd. But there are people like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they think they should be thinking 100% laser focus on football all the time, and should be at training all the time. They'll get a shock when they find out that footballers train for about 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
They'll get a big shock if they found that out. Like, all right. So he did turn up for training when Manchester United asked, and did the duration that they expect. But what's he going to do from 12? What's he going to do from 12 lunchtime to 10 at night?
Mm.
Might as well fuck with the Prime Minister. Try and get some children fed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but they'd be like, no, that's eating into his focusing on football time. I was like, no, you got a shock, mate. Wait till they find out that their favourite footballers are actually on Twitch at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Are they really, Tom?
There are footballers that Twitch football, and Mesut Ozil, I believe,
Yeah.
when Arsenal basically were like, "You're not welcome here," kind of thing.
Yeah,
He
Fortnite,
was.
huh?
People found out his side of it because he sat on Twitch during lockdown playing FIFA.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But he's right, especially now. He's not the only. He's far from the only one. But again, these people were like, "Oh, Trent Alexander-Arnold needs to focus on his game," and it's like, mate, Trent Alexander-Arnold's focusing on his FIFA game right now.
People act like that have no life outside of football, man. You know, that to me is so funny. Especially in this day and age of like social media, you know,
Yeah,
people
well,
want to get.
when
Yeah,
Leeds hired Marcelo Bielsa, it was one of the first things he did for the summer. Leeds had what they call double training sessions. So basically, the Leeds players that were used to coming in, doing 3-4 hours, and then going home at 1 p.m. Nah, mate. Marcelo Bielsa had beds installed in the training ground because he was going to work the players from like 9 a.m. to like 9 p.m. And his plan was they would be so tired that they wouldn't have the energy to even go home.
oh shit.
So he was like, "Yeah, if you tired, he's got to work them like a dog, and then you can fall asleep in the train." Like basically, it was a function like a hotel. To his credit, he did some fascinating things. He because obviously Leeds had been a bit of a shit show for about 10 years, and he was like, he turned up and he went, "What's this?" They went, "Oh yeah, that's the swimming pool in the training ground." It's like, "Yeah, it's the swimming pool, but it hasn't been switched on for about 4 years or
Are you
whatever."
serious, Tom?
He was like, what are you talking about?" They were like, yeah, no, we can't afford to. We save money by like not having it on," and he was like, "But you're paying me 5 million a year, like switch the motherfucking swimming pool on."
Wow.
Fascinating. He could do a whole show on that man and the things he did. The
So
things he did
Tom,
even before he was at Leeds. Sorry.
wait, where is it? Where is that before Leeds?
He was in Argentina, but I think his recent job before he was at Leeds, I think he'd managed Marseille and he lasted about 4 months. To be fair, he lasted 4 years at Leeds, so it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Do you know how long he lasted at Lazio? I swear this is true. Not
That's
one word of this is a lie. How long do you think he lasted at Lazio in Italy?
a month.
Not even that long. This is genuinely true. This is genuinely true.
He was there a week.
No, they wished he had been there a week.
Go on, Tom.
Less than a day.
And
Honestly,
that's your.
he agreed to take the job, and as part of his prep work and that, he went, "These are some transfer targets. Let's say this isn't true, but let's say, for example, he handed them a list, and the list said Eddie and Ketia. Nah, he went, I'd like you to try and get these players because I think they'll really improve the squad." They went away. They came back and they went, "Oh yeah, we couldn't get those players," sort of thing. So, Bielsa was due to fly in the next day, like to start his job.
Mhm.
And he basically, what he ended up really doing was he then phoned up all those players and all their agents and that. And all he asked was a simple question: Did you say yes or did you say no to Lazio? And they all basically went, no, we didn't even know Lazio were infamy.
Oh
So
wow.
they lied to him even before his first day. So he was like, I can't work with these pricks. They just didn't show up. And then when they asked him where he was, he told them, I'm not coming to work for you because you are a bunch of lying fuckers. If those players had said, oh yeah, no, I did say no, he would have
Different
been
story.
fine. He'd have turned up for work because the big thing with him is don't lie to him. As silly as that sounds, just don't lie. If you're honest with him, he might not like it. You know what I mean? He's like most people.
Where did Marco Bielsa come from, Tom? Was it Italian?
Argentina.
Argentinian. Okay.
His main success was in Argentina in like 1991, I believe, and he won their championship with. He was the youth team manager of his local team.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became the manager of his local team, and they won the title. And playing the same football he does now, like all out attacking, constant running, fascinating stuff. But he managed Argentina at the World Cup in 2002, went out
Okay.
first round. I think he set Chile up. Like he basically discovered the likes of like Vidal and Alexis Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
And developed them through like the youth system in Chile and things like. Basically, I might have slight facts wrong on that, but he's a big reason why Chile won the. He set them up to win the Copa America twice, basically. Like,
Yeah, because Chile had their, I guess, golden era, right?
yeah,
And
he created
the
that.
okay, wow, that's quite astonishing because South
He don't go
America,
though. He never won the Copa America, but he built the team that did.
right? Okay, because Uruguay have had success during World Cups as well, Tom, right? With Suarez and Diego Forlan and those guys. Um, so South America has a lot of talent, but you don't ever think of Chile being one of those top nations in South America.
I'd love Uruguay to win the World Cup just to
Hmm.
see him with a trophy. It'd be incredible because there's so many people in football think he's a fraud.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so many people think he's an absolute fraud, and he's not. He's great. You know how like anyone, there's always going to be someone that doesn't like. So, if there's always 10 people saying that someone in football is great, there's going to be 2 that go, actually. For example, like when I call Pep a bald fraud,
Yeah,
everyone thinks I'm mental, but I can clearly explain why I think Pep is a bald fraud.
and so do I.
There you go.
I think as is our friend Russ Morgan as well. So Tom, so tell Michael Bielsa, who do you think is a better manager between the two, Michael Bielsa or Claudio Ranieri?
I personally would say Bielsa,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, when someone turns around to me and goes, "Yeah, but did Marcelo Bielsa win the Premier League with Leicester?" I would then go, "No, he didn't." So congratulations on winning that debate.
Because didn't Claudio Ranieri also coach Chelsea, correct?
He did.
Okay.
He did.
But he never won a league with them, right?
That's a great question for BX.
Has Pep ever done it on a cold, wet, rainy night in Stoke? No. Correct.
Do you know what I think it might be though? You might find. Hang on. I'm gonna Google Pep Guardiola versus Stoke. We'll find out because I'm sure there's a small crossover between Stoke getting relegated and Pep getting the Man City job versus Stoke. Sorry, hang on. Pep versus Stoke City. Oh, Pep's record. Man City did beat Stoke 7-2 at one point, apparently. But Pep's record against. Oh my god. So sorry. Oh, he's had 4 matches against Stoke and he beat them 3 times and drew once. But so again, I don't know the date and time of those matches, admittedly. So I don't know. I don't have the weather forecast for that night in Stoke or that day in Stoke.
Was it called the Britannica?
Yeah. But saying, they did win 4-1 again at Stoke. Therefore, you know what? Let me 20th of August.
Stoke City.
I'm gonna more find out what date and time it was. So my apologies for holding you up. It's just more. I just more trying to answer BX's question.
So Stoke City, right? Is that where
Yeah.
Ryan Shawcross injured Ramsey? Or destroyed his knee?
That is the team though where Shawcross injured Eduardo, I believe.
No,
it was
it was
Saturday, so
it was
that's probably
Birmingham.
during the day. It's probably a day kickoff.
So
Rory Delap was known for basically having a throw in that was like a corner.
yeah.
He basically popularised the lot because do you know Rory Delap threw the ball so far that it was actually a bigger advantage than having a corner for one simple reason. That reason, you can't be offside from a throw-in.
Is that right, Tom?
You can be offside from a corner, but it usually doesn't occur because defense will naturally put players on the post. So it's never really a thing. But with a throw-in, it doesn't matter. It's genuinely part of the rules, Alonso.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So
Which is why whenever you get like an attacking team has the throw-in in their half, the players will maneuver like behind the defense, and that's why defense will always have they won't let it happen, but they can. Like if the defender isn't paying attention, you can throw it and they're away. It doesn't matter.
Tom, I think so. Eduardo's leg snapped at Birmingham.
That's true. No, it was it Ramsey then at Stoke?
Ramsey at Stoke, yeah.
Yeah. Then I was right. Yeah. It was Birmingham, wasn't it?
As St. Gallis sit on the pitch crying.
Ricardo Fuller. Oh man, that takes me back.
BX, wasn't that the same ground that Henry scored that goal? Or was it the pass to Van Persie that won the goal? No, it was it Arshavin that passed it to Henry that never Henry scored against Stoke, or was it Sunderland? That was Sunderland, right, Tom?
No idea.
Because I remember Arsenal wore that stupid uniform where they had half the shirt light blue or blue, and the other half was like an aqua blue, I think. It was a Nike, it was like the last, second to last night. I don't know. It was the 125th anniversary uh, jersey season.
That's interesting. But yeah.
So Tom, so who's gonna come in second in the championship?
It will be Ipswich
Ipswich. Okay.
because basically I'll put it another way. Leeds will have to beat Southampton, who are fourth
Hmm.
in the championship on Saturday. So third are playing fourth on Saturday. Ipswich in second will have to lose to Huddersfield, who are second from the bottom, in order for Leeds to overtake them.
Oh
Even if
wow.
Ipswich get a draw, doesn't matter. Leeds are done, and Ipswich basically, only the real die-hard, deluded Leeds fans will go, "Oh, we're still in this. There's still hope." It's like, motherfucker, just fucking smell the coffee. The fat lady is fucking singing.
Tom, this is where optimism, saying right.
I'm not saying it like we're definitely gonna lose it. My point is more. You know what? I never watched the game between Coventry and Ipswich last night. Never watched it. But I made a point of like waiting till 10 p.m., like roughly the time the game finished. Then I'd look at the score. And I looked at it and I saw Ipswich 1-2-1. So now Ipswich are 3 points in front of Leeds United with one game left. Leeds have superior goal difference, hence why if we win and they lose, we will get promoted. But the reality is they're playing a team that needs to win 12-0 to avoid relegation. But they're at the bottom for a reason. Anyway, I'm sat here and I just felt a wave of relief more than disappointment because it was like, okay, there's nothing to be stressed about anymore. It's done. It's over. We fucked it. And congratulations to Ipswich. That's it.
Tom, so who would be in the playoff? Is it you, Southampton, Derby County?
No, it will be 2 out of. Right, so it'd be Leeds Southampton, definitely. Then it is 2 out of West Brom, Norwich, or Hull.
Oh, so that's not done yet. Okay.
Yeah. And Leeds will play whoever finishes sixth.
Uh-huh.
But we've never won the playoffs in 30 years that it's existed. Been in it multiple times, never won it. But like you say, there's every chance to break that right now. So hopefully we do. But
So you're saying it's Hull City, West Brom.
Hull have to win. Hull have to win because Hull are seventh. They need one of the other two to. They
Oh, okay.
basically they can leap. Basically, if West Brom lose and Hull wins, Hull will leapfrog West Brom. I don't think Hull have better goal difference than Norwich, to be fair.
Oh, Norwich.
So,
Okay. Norwich.
so I think it's very likely that Norwich will be in the playoff.
Okay.
This will all play out at in England time 12:30 on Saturday. So in America time, it's what could be about 6, 7. I get really jealous that football for you is really early in the morning because in my perception is that usual basically get to watch the football and it's done, and then you can get on with the rest of your day. Whereas
Well,
it's a core part of our schedules.
no, because you had a certain pay-per-view to watch as well.
That's true. That's true.
So that said, Tom, we're going to close out our soccer segment of the podcast. How honestly do you feel about Leeds getting promoted?
I'm not as high on it as I was 2 months ago, but
Hmm.
still got every chance. Got a statistically, the team that finishes third wins the playoff 33% of the time, which is
Hmm.
higher than the 25% you'd give 1 out of 4. So, but still, it's it's really hard to call it though, because it's what I call desperation football, the playoffs, because players are playing for their jobs
Hmm.
and like lives depend on it. Like because obviously you plan for your contracts, and because generally if you get promoted via the playoffs, you're going to get re-signed to another year or whatever for the most part. Whereas now, if you don't, there are players that will get released. Um, It's this whole air whiff of like desperation about the whole thing. It's awful. Don't get me wrong. It's great when you're not in it.
So playoffs is really a lot, right? Is like riding on the playoffs.
Yep. Yep. The final is known as like the $200 million football match or £200 million football match.
I never knew that. I never knew that that was how much it was at stake as far as not just being
Mm.
promoted, but also players' contracts and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But last year's playoffs, the third place team didn't get in, correct?
No, it's like you say, it's not as often as people think it may be. But lately, the third place team does win it, kind of,
Hmm.
because generally speaking, they've usually either been relegated or whatever, so have a slightly stronger squad. But it's really hard to say how this is going to go, and I don't know. Just I'm kind of I'm kind of enjoying just not being stressed about it until it comes time to actually be stressed about it.
Right. So Tom, so we're going to switch gears to wrestling,
Okay.
and I watched a lot of Raw, but of course I didn't. I respect for Gary's podcast. I didn't want to put it on louder than what it already was. So Tom, so what was your takeaways from Raw on Monday night?
Um, I think the draft as a concept is dead. I think
Hmm.
my issue with the draft seems to be I don't feel other people have this issue. I was listening to other wrestling shows and they didn't seem to have an issue with it like I did. But my issue with it is like a lot of it felt like nothing changed.
Hmm.
But my issue with it was that you've gone around the houses to tell me nothing's changed. Like it's like, oh, uh off the top of my head, Gunter has been drafted by Raw. I'm like, well, but he was already on Raw. I'm
Yeah.
like, so why is he even in the pool? Just draft people that are moving. Like, like for example, it'd be, oh, Cody's going to SmackDown. No, Cody because he's got their belt. But he's like, Cody's going to SmackDown. I was like, oh, cool, because he's been on Raw for 2 years. Fine, not a problem. But when they're all like, the New Day are on Raw, I'm like, okay, the New
Yeah.
Day's been on Raw for about 5 years. Why are they even up for drafting if you're not going to move them? I know they're doing it like they try to do the thing like oh, it's about protecting your own people, like your own picks and stuff. And I'm like, but you've like 50 picks, you motherfuckers. I think a lot. Do you know what? I liked. You know what? I like the NXT bits of it because even though I found that the weirdest part of the whole thing, because you've basically showed me that NXT is fake. Because when they went and with the 16th pick, Kiana James, I'm like, oh, cool. Kiana James has got called up. She's coming to Raw. Everyone in NXT stood up clapping like
Yeah.
she's their mate, right? And I ain't got a problem with that. I got a problem with seeing it. It was nice to see. That's like I'm saying the same thing as well. It was lovely to see that everyone gets on so well there, like they're a family because they've been training together for years. Lovely. But why is the person she's been fighting for the last 2 years also clapping for her?
You like that, Tom?
Don't put it on camera.
It's interesting you say that because I believe it was last Thursday that we mentioned how much, Dragunov, aka Gavin, and Trick, aka Whoop That Trick, Williams, have a respect for each other. And I saw that on NXT. It seemed like a tight knit group over there. Like I saw Claire Davenport, who's kind of cut out a little bit. She's had also respect of the NXT locker room,
Yeah.
which I kind of like. I appreciate that. Um, do you have an issue with that, Tom?
I did not hate it. I'm making it sound like I hated they did it. I just found it strange that they admitted on camera that
Okay.
NXT, none of the rivalries are real.
Oh, right. Okay, I get it.
Because they're all applauding each other and stuff. Like it was nice to see that a group of people are being really supportive of each other. Like it was nice to see it. I just found it strange that you showed that and then you expect me to watch your show the next night where they're all going to be fighting each other.
Yeah,
It's
at
like the brawl
least.
brawl. It's like the brawl brawl all over again. Where
Yeah,
like you've conditioned me that wrestling's fake, but then you want me to believe that this particular thing is real.
all for all. Yeah.
But I'm not going to believe it's real because you've conditioned me that it's fake. So then when they are really punching each other, I'm not seeing it how you want me to see it. I'm just like, I want wrestling. Like the crowd
Yeah.
for the night. The thing a lot of the people don't say when they talk about the brawl for all is that the most chance you got during the brawl for all matches were we want wrestling
Hmm.
because it was crap.
The boxing.
Yeah, I mean we've talked that to death though, but I just thought it was
Yeah.
an interesting parallel to the NXT thing where it's like you've just spent 2 days Raw and SmackDown showing me that no they're all mates, and then on Tuesday it's like those people you thought were mates, no they're not mates, they're just gonna wrestle each other now. Like
But no.
you've just showed me them all clapping. Roxanne Perez is clapping for Lyra Valkyria. Obafemi is clapping for Gavin.
Kevin.
Obafemi was clapping for yeah, I've got a photo of him. He's clapping for Kiana James. I didn't even know he knew who she was. But he's there. He's like, yeah, well done. Like, and I know they've all been told to do that, but it was like again. I'm glad I saw it so I could talk about it, but at the same time, it was very. But
Fringe.
you still expect me to take? Yeah, it was strange. It was strange, but I don't think anyone else sees it how I saw it because, like, when I have seen people go, "Oh yeah, it went to the performance center," and then everyone like basically. Gavin got drafted and everyone clapped him because he's the champion or he was the champion. Whatever. It's like, no, they all clapped him because they're all like pleased for him because he's
Hmm.
getting promoted.
So, Tom, we talked about that. So, how do you feel about Carmelo Hayes joining SmackDown from NXT? Do you think this is finally his chance, or do you think that he's been a main roster before? Do you think that he's there to stay?
I do fear for him. Carmelo Hayes He's a fantastic professional wrestler. Has a good presence about him. He has all the tools that should succeed. However, I said the same about Apollo Crews. I even said the same at one point about Gargano. Based on their reactions in NXT. Like, Carmelo's a big star in NXT. Like, he got big push over the last 2-3 years. But the thing is that I didn't I looked up the other day and it says Carmelo Hayes is 5'10", but he doesn't look 5
Oh,
foot. He
wow.
looks 5'5". When he's in there, when he's in there with Braun Strowman at some point or whatever, it'll be that's why he's never going to be the champion.
Hmm.
Keep in mind, Shawn Michaels was very behind him in NXT because Shawn Michaels sees himself in Carmelo Hayes. Because Shawn Michaels was also not 6'6"
Right.
and worked hard on his wrestling and things like this. So Shawn's obviously going to give chances to guys that work hard and are not 7 foot tall
On the
because he
size, yeah.
wasn't 7 foot tall. Whereas Vince, the best chance Carmelo Hayes has is that Vince isn't there. First, I could be totally wrong, and they could make a massive start at Carmelo Hayes. I also fear about Gavin for similar reasons. Gavin's amazing, the best, but he's not 6'6".
What do you have? What do you think the plan is for Gavin?
I've got a feeling what they're going to do with Gavin. I could be wrong. I think Gavin's going to join Imperium because there's a spot freed up. Imperium can't be a tag team. It's like I complained for months that, the family in NXT, D'Angelo and Stacks. I was like, you can't call yourself the family when there's two of you. You're a tag team. You're not a family. You're just a duo of lads. Whereas then they brought in the lady, what's her name?
Big
Big Ann.
Ange.
Yeah. And then Crucifino, who looks great, by the way. But they are a family. Like, they are a faction. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think all their hokey mafia shit, like kidnapping Gavin and that, is amazing. But as I was saying, Gunnar and Kaiser can't walk around Raw being like, we're Imperium. It's like, you're not Imperium. You're a tag team. I mean, admittedly, on my slides for tomorrow, I am going to call them Imperium because that's what they've been known as for a while, but for years, actually. They've been do you know Imperium's been actually a thing since, I think, 2017?
Not a long time.
I can't remember exactly because I think he joined in either 2017, 18, but that group has been a thing for a long time. And I'll tell you what I do fear for. Giovanni Vinci. He has been drafted to SmackDown. And they are going to give him some gimmick where I can see it now. They're going to give him a gimmick where he's a ladies' man. And it will fucking fail.
So he's set to fail on time.
It will fail because the audience will see how I see it. Ain't you the guy that got booted out of Gunter's group? What are you a ladies' man of? Gunter's mate whoop your ass. Not even Gunter, his mate. Pardon me shouting, but his
Kaiser.
little mate who's diddling Tiffany Stratton. So he's doing really well for himself, to be fair.
Is that right, Tom?
That's true. Kaiser is all up in Stratton's guts. Anyway, what? That's crude. That's crude. I apologise. But I'd have never said that on my own show. But but like I say, the problem with WWE is they say they push new stars, but they're very reluctant to genuinely push new stars because it's very put it this way. I guarantee you, this time next week, the New Day will have been on TV. I'm pretty sure the New Day will be on TV for the next 10 years still. I don't say like I hate the New Day. That's not the point. Just like they'll say this is a new era, and it's like, but you have the same people from 5 years ago on TV.
But Tom, they still have R-Truth and Miz on TV.
Exactly. I'm not saying like they shouldn't. I love R-Truth and the Miz, but again, don't then tell me you create new stars in your tag team division because the champion's fucking Miz.
That awesome truth. So Tom, what is the plan now for Roman Reigns? We've all heard how Paul Heyman has insisted that Roman Reigns will not be at SmackDown or involved in the draft. Is it true that he's just taking a really, really long vacation? Or is this where, Roman Reigns just continue to train and take time off to take care of himself, to maybe potentially wrestle The Rock in the near future? What do you think will anticipate will happen? And where does this leave Cody Rhodes?
Okay. This has actually nothing to do with Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns now. I think Cody is just going to tread water for a couple of months until Dwayne returns, because the real hot feud is going to be The Rock versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, I suspect. Roman Reigns is going to return as an absolute monster babyface. Finally, he will get the enormous babyface pop that Vince McMahon always envisioned he'd get. Not because of Vince McMahon, obviously, but because obviously the bad line, which is obviously Solo, Sikoa, and Tama Tonga, are at some point going to be joined by a third man, I believe Jacob Fatu, who I believe they have signed. And then obviously they beat up Jimmy Uso.
Right.
And Jey Uso, I imagine he's not too. Eventually, they're going to pick a fight with Jey Uso, and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso will reunite, and they will reunite with Roman eventually, and we will get monster super babyface bloodline
Versus the NWO Hollywood bloodline.
Basically, it will be the good bloodline. It'll be the good line versus the bad line. Basically. And I could 100% be wrong, but it is where I foresee this is going. If I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up and go, you know what? I thought it was going to be a 3-on-3 with a good bloodline and a bad bloodline. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But at the same time, I do think that's where it's going. I think the more people wanted Roman Reigns to go away, I think they've realised that they actually kind of miss him. Because the viewership has gone down since he's gone, for a start. And I know that's a mix of like, oh, of course the viewership's always going to be higher in the build-up to WrestleMania. Because of course it is. It's natural. But I feel like I think people were baying to cheer that character. To have a reason to cheer that character. And when Jey Uso accepts Roman back, take my money.
That's cool.
I will buy a Good Line t-shirt. That's not true.
Will this also feature the Good Brothers?
Oh my God, I hope not. Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know what? No, I'll tell you what. I wanted them to cut. Oh, you know what? I wanted them to change the rules of the draft. I wanted them to go, let's go to Mr. Tom and he'll make the next draft pick. And I was going to say, for my next pick in the WWE draft, I select the Good Brothers to get the fuck off of my TV.
The good guy. What is it called? The good guy brothers? The good
Oh,
brothers?
the No Good Brothers. Sorry, my apologies.
No good brothers.
I don't even really have anything against them. It's just for I've just got this thing where it just feels like charisma around them, which is that. Sorry, Anderson and Gallows. Cole Anderson, Luke Gallows. I want them to be my mates. They like whenever I've seen them in things where like they're involved, like backstage, like they were doing a video game channel with Xavier Woods and that. They were great. They were great lads. Put a fucking camera on them and go, right, now you're on Monday Night Raw, and it fucking dies a death. Apart from when they do the Magic Killer. That is awesome.
Tom, have they wrestled any time this year?
They wrestled yesterday on NXT.
They really?
Which is ironic because they got drafted to somewhere. One, it was Raw or SmackDown, 1, 2. I couldn't tell you. I do have it on the slide or whatever. But they've been drafted, but they were still on NXT. And I suspect that they'll be on NXT next week as well, which will render this draft meaningless in a record time. Because you can't tell me Raw have selected the Good Brothers to keep the or to take the Good Brothers away from SmackDown, but then they're on NXT anyway. This makes the whole draft fucking pointless. If you're just going to put people where you fucking feel like it in the first place.
Tom, so remember Luke Gallows' bit whenever he's with CM Punk or Phil?
Yes. Yes. But I remember before that when he was Festus and they did the cowbell where they went ding and he was like, and then they went ding and he was like, then they ding it again. And they had the Miz, showing how long the Miz has been there, where the Miz has got the bell and he's ringing the bell and then seeing him go mad. Then he's doing it. No, we're basically messing with him. So it was evil and hilarious. And it was the sort of thing Vince McMahon would have thought of.
Oh my god.
Vince is like, just ring the bell, damn it. Oh my god, what two? And he's got it. Yeah, anyway, but
yeah, because the guy was like, this is like.
yeah,
gosh, man. So Tom, anything else you want to talk about wrestling before we change it to the next segment?
Well, I apologise because I never got to ask you, because you asked me a load of questions on wrestling, but I never asked you what you thought about it. So, what did you make of Gavin getting drafted?
So, I mean, I think that, he was due for the next step with going to SmackDown. He's going to SmackDown, right? Or was it Raw? He's going to Raw, right?
If I told you the list of wrestlers that are on Raw, you'd be, you know what? I'll do it for you. I think I got it.
Okay.
Apologies if I haven't. No, I've got the list of wrestlers for Raw. Do you mind if I read them out to you?
Go ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
All right. So obviously the champion Priest, Becky Lynch, obviously Sami Zayn and Awesome Truth, already on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So Raw has got Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, Liv Morgan, Ricochet, Sheamus, Alpha Academy, Kiana James, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Starks, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. She's so hot, Isla Dawn. Anyway, Ivar, Imperium, Damage Control, CM Punk, Braun Strowman, the LWO. So they've got Rey Mysterio, Carlito,
Okay.
Dragon Lee. Yeah. Drew McIntyre, the Judgment Day, Ilya Dragunov, the New Day, Lyra Valkyria, the Final Testament, unfortunately. Big Bronson Reed, Natalia, Kada Carr and Katana Chance, Odyssey Jones, that was a laugh. Dijak, Russian George Michael is going to be on Raw.
Dijak's going Raw?
Dijak was the last pick in the draft.
Interesting.
He's not last on the list. There's Creed Brothers, Ivy Nile, and New Catch Republic. But Dijak was announced on YouTube as the last pick in the draft from NXT. But yeah, as you can see, like the sheer quality of the wrestlers over on Monday night is it's impressive. Because you potentially you're gonna get Rey Mysterio versus Ilya Dragunov. Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable, potentially. Gunther versus Logan Paul. Well, no, where's Logan Paul? He's not on Raw. Anyway,
Braun Strowman came back, which surprised me.
He did.
Damage Control, Tom, is one that caught my eye the most, other than LWO, but Damage Control because I don't watch SmackDown as much as I should. Though I saw them not pick a fight, but go up to Becky Lynch, and so you wonder if Becky Lynch is going to have her friends stick by her side, aka Liv Morgan.
I'll tell you this, mate. The one thing out of the draft that I absolutely loved, and it almost made it worth the whole thing being shit, was the fact that the LWO will be on a different TV channel or different TV show to Legado del Fantasma. So we are finally done. There will be no more Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar. There's going to be no Philadelphia Eagles interfering in their matches. Like, this bollocks is done. And I'm so excited that if I have to see any combination of Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza and Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee and Carlito and the other two, what's their names? What's his name? Joaquin Wild and the other one. No, I do know his name. Cruz del Toro. Cruz del Toro. That was it. Sorry. I will take a hot poker and stick it through my eye because I'm sick of seeing the combination of those lads. It's been going on for 6 months, and we got a crap WrestleMania match out of it.
So Andrade went to SmackDown then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. Which means we can get even more in the Mexican wrestling. Because now it's just going to be, instead of Rey Mysterio, and I say, oh my God, it's going to be Santos Escobar versus Andrade every week for the next 6 months. Oh no. What do we do to deserve this?
So, what was I going to say? Oh, right. So, LWO. So, what did they do with Dragon Lee versus Carlito? Because we all know Carlito is going to be the heel.
Yeah, from my understanding, Carlito has been drafted along with the LWO. Because although he attacked Dragon Lee, and that was revealed on Friday, there was no official thing saying they'd booted him out. So he got drafted along with them. So basically, Dragon Lee and Carlito and Rey Mysterio by proxy is going to play out on Monday nights now instead of on SmackDown. Which, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
So, Tom, I also saw on SmackDown that they got Brett Davenport.
Yeah.
Now,
very good.
Yeah. I think so as well. She looks pretty hot as well. So,
She's a solid citizen.
do you think that it was too early for her to get promoted, or do you think this was her time finally?
Oh no, she will not be the champion, she. There will be no chance she will ever be the champion or anything like that. She will be the person that they put against. She's going to wrestle Bailey at some point and make Bailey look great. She will wrestle Naomi and make Naomi look great. Blair Davenport is a solid professional wrestler. Not just a solid female professional wrestler, she is a solid professional wrestler. But that doesn't
But
necessarily mean you're a star.
but do you think it was her time to get promoted, or do you think that
Yes.
she should? Okay.
Yeah. It never entered my head that they would promote her. Admittedly, like I weren't sat there thinking, "Oh yeah, this is Blair Davenport's chance." But when they announced, "Oh, our next pick is Blair Davenport," I was like, "Why not? That's fine.
Hmm.
More than deserved."
I was actually shocked, but then again, I really haven't watched SmackDown that much. I mean, NXT that much, so I'm kind of happy for her. From the things I did see out of her, she seemed pretty dynamic, and
Great
knows,
match last week on
yeah,
NXT, the beach match or whatever they
yeah,
call it, with all the
yeah,
Beach Boys and the weapons and stuff.
the screen breaking,
Yeah, yeah, but it was
yeah,
but I can't remember what they called the match. It was what was it like beach brawl.
yeah, something like that.
But basically, they obviously set up like there was like a ball pit and there was a surfboard, and basically she took a stunner or an RKO type move into this surfboard, and it just looked it was solid. It was great, for a like 8 minute match or whatever it was. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought that she has established herself as I hope pretty soon a contender, but of course she has to earn that. She has to earn the right to be in conversation at least. And I at times see a lot of potential in Red Davenport. Though being on SmackDown, it'd be hard to do with you have Bailey and excuse me, their mom from Basildon with three kids sharing. Um, and you have Jay Cargill now, and then Bianca Belair. So and also what's her name, Tom
Tiffany Stratton.
Naomi, right?
Naomi,
And
yeah.
Tierney Stratton too. So there's a pretty well established female wrestlers on both SmackDown and Raw. Um, so yeah, I hope that she doesn't come out undercarded or forgotten like Nikki Cross has.
I'll tell you something. Sorry to interrupt you,
Um,
but you'll enjoy this. Blair Davenport actually talks like she is from Basildon.
is she really?
She, well, yeah, because she was born in, although she was born in North York. She's basically born near Leeds,
Okay,
ironically,
okay.
but she sounds like, um, yeah, because like she moved to London, back to London, or moved to London. Therefore, she, yeah, basically, cut a long story short, she actually does sound like she could play, uh, oh, what's her name? Sandy from Basildon.
Do you care to impersonate an accent?
Uh, I'll probably do it really badly because, but I think it's sad to say. Hello, love. I can't believe I got drafted from SmackDown. She probably don't sound like that at all. But I can't believe it. I can't believe I was once in AEW and now I'm in WWE. How you doing, love? They fall down your apples and pears. Wait, what? Anyway, but that's
Lovely Tom.
yeah. No, she's a. But nah, give her a due. She's just again. If don't get me wrong, while I'm adamant she'll never be like the SmackDown champion. I'm
Never
not saying
ever?
like, no, but I'm not saying it like I'd be upset if she was. I'd be thrilled for her. I'd be like, all right, someone from England, a female from England won the belt there, which I don't think would probably have ever happened. But at the same time, I just don't see that. I don't think she's there to worry the champion as such.
Right. So Tom, so on Saturday is a big pay-per-view. Well, not big, but probably big in Paris. Leon Paris, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
So France. Leon, not in France. Paris, it's
Idea,
in France,
actually.
right?
I want to see what time Backlash starts.
So I think, Tom, this starts later than expected. I think it starts at 11:30 my time.
Yeah, 6 p.m. in England.
So it'll be what, 11 o'clock, right? My time.
Yep.
So Saturday is like a big early day for me. However, me and my early self will open up because Arsenal play Bournemouth. And I'll be on the Full Nelson podcast alongside you and Tony and other guests. So, Tom, so quickly, do you care to announce to the audience who will be wrestling in that pay per view?
Yeah, off the top of my head, we will be getting Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus the Damage Control, consisting of the Kabuki Warriors, who are basically Asuka and Kairi Sane, for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We'll be getting Women's Championship on SmackDown is going to be Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton versus Sandy, mother of three from Basildon. Bailey, of course. And there's another one, isn't there? We're probably going to get some form of Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable versus
Bronson
Reed, possibly, but I don't think that's been officialized or anything like that. I know there's 5 matches. I remember the other 2. I can't remember the odd one out, but obviously we're also going to get the Raw Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, which will be Damian Priest defending against Jey Uso. And obviously Cody Rhodes makes his first on TV title defense against AJ Styles. I can't actually remember the 5th match, which is weird because I know I've got 5 slides for it.
Is it R-Truth and The Miz?
Oh no, it's the Bad Line versus Team RKO. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which was a match made by Teddy Long. Because of course it was. It was a tag team match.
Player.
Yeah. Player, now, let me tell you something, player. Holla, holla. Oh, man. It's one of my favourite things in wrestling. I know it sounds really silly, but whenever I saw that, man, I'd be like, well, fuck, we're going to get ourselves another tag team match. Because I'd start counting the people in the ring. I'd be like, oh my God, there's 2 in the ring, and there's 2 outside the ring, and oh my God, and it'd take long to be like, he'd almost come out and be like, you know what I'm about to do, player. You're going to wrestle in a tag team match. But if there was one person in the ring, then you also knew what he was going to do. If you were a heel and you were the one person in the room, you were going. I would bet my fucking house on it, pardon my language, that you're about to be put 1-on-1 with the Undertaker. Player, holla, holla. You feel me?
Undertaker.
I loved how they would react to it as well. They'd either be like, or they'd be like, oh, like, I think he did it to MVP once. MVP went, God damn it. What did I do to deserve that? I'm only a villain.
MVP.
Yeah.
His bit he did with Mark what's his name, Mark Henry, the tag team.
Mm-hmm. That was a good team. Well, I say a good team. I don't think he ever did anything, but it gave Mark Henry something to do before he became great.
Yeah.
Because then after that team, I believe he turned heel because he got
That's
drafted
right.
to SmackDown and then turned heel, and he was awesome.
Did he
When
turn heel? He turned heel, right, on John Cena, right?
well, no, that was, but no, the Hall of Pain was slightly before this because that was when he pretended he was going to retire. In one of the greatest
Oh
promos ever on Raw, by the way. It's like he was getting real tears and shit, pretending he was going to retire. Couldn't believe it. That motherfucker was sat there crying like, "Oh man, I'm finally gonna get to see my daughter every day and stuff like this." And then John Cena
yeah.
comes in. He's like, "I've still got more in the tank, motherfucker." Anyway, my apologies. I'm going off on tangent.
Tom. So yeah.
Excuse me.
So what match are you looking forward to the most on Backlash? I'll be right back.
No problem. Oh, okay. You want me to answer? Okay. Well, the match I'm most looking forward to is, I don't know. It feels very house showish. This card, like, obviously, I feel like all the champions are going to retain. I've got a feeling that Bianca Belair is going to get beat by the Kabuki Warriors. There's no way Jade Cargill's getting pinned, but I just think it's so obvious that Bianca Belair's going to win that they might actually book the opposite. I could be wrong. I'm not an expert on this kind of shit. I mean, ultimately, Vince McMahon was still booking matches or results or whatever until like they went on the air. So is that no true definition way of knowing who was going to win? But you know, anyway, my apologies. I've been filibustering for like an hour and a half now about the draft, and I'm still going to do it tomorrow for probably 3 hours. Probably, I don't know, but I think Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles will be a good wrestling match. It's going to be solid. I just think there's obviously no chance that Cody Rhodes is losing. Same, I can't see Jey Uso beating Damian Priest. You know what? It's actually a unique opportunity because it does put the bloodline in the same building as Jey Uso.
Do you think that the Judgment Day and the line are going to jump to Uso, hence Jimmy's going to come out and Cody Rhodes or whatever? Or do you think that it'll just.
It's hard to say, but you
It
could be
depends on
right.
also how that match is placed amongst the 5 matches of all time. Do you think that'll be a main event?
Yeah, basically. Excuse me.
If we're a main event, I could see that happening.
Wow, that's it'll be nice just to sit and enjoy the wrestling on Saturday night because I'm not doing the predictions competition for it, so we can all just sit and have a nice time, not worrying about who's winning. And it's Perez, and all
Oh
that
yeah.
nonsense. Yeah, we just enjoy it and we have a nice time. Nice bit of fun, and I'll just sit and watch it.
So Tom, so who currently is out on injured reserve, so to speak? Um, we know Rocco Rodriguez is out. We know Seth Rollins is out. Roman Reigns is out indefinitely.
Yep.
Um,
Nikita Lyons is out
okay,
from NXT.
right.
I'll tell you who's back. Wesley is back. Wesley is back. Basically they got rid of Xia Li, released her, but they were like, oh no, we can't get rid of all the Lee family, so bring back Wes.
As
And
Lee
Wesley's going to challenge Obafemi. I'm pretty sure of it. And Wesley's gonna get killed by Obafemi.
is Overmean currently had the North American belt.
He does. He currently has the men's North American belt
Okay.
because at their next pay per view or whatever it is in Vegas at Battleground or whatever it is, I think it's in May. There's going to be a 6-woman ladder match to determine the female North American champion. I'm all
Wow.
for it. I think it's fine. Most of their, you know what? I'll say this. There is so many women's matches in NXT. I'm actually surprised it's taken them this long to actually go, you know what? These could do with a mid card belt.
Is NXT in 2 hours long time or just still an hour?
2 hours,
Okay.
which
So is it?
I've always felt it's an easy watch because it's 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't watch it if it was 3 hours. I'd be torture. But I think Raw could be torture at 3 hours. I think no wrestling TV show should be 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
The pay per view should be 3 hours long because you're fucking paying for it. Pardon my language. But I mean, like, either through Peacock, through the network, or through standard pay per view, like phoning them up and paying you £30 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying for it. So I'd expect value, as in, give me actual wrestling and give me 3 hours of it.
Tom, so now that you mentioned that, does that dynamic still work in the UK where you phone them up on the phone and just say, "Hey, I want to watch per view"?
I think you can do. I think you can also do it through like the TV and like following buttons But here, me personally, I just watch it through the WWE network for
Okay.
$9.99 a month. To be fair, I'm surprised it's still $9.99 a month because the network has been here for about 9 years now. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
surprised there was no price hike. To be fair to WWE, but I'm not sure I would have paid it a price hike. I think £10 a month. I think giving WWE £120 a year and having access to their pay per views and it's it's a bargain. But at the
It
same
is.
time, it's not something I'll be prepared to pay more for because you've conditioned me that I can now watch your monthly pay per view for a tenner.
Mm-hmm.
To put it nicely,
So, Tom, so did you hear about the Peacock price increase?
I did not.
So there's been a price increase, and it had something to do with they were partnering up with WWE. It's just too much math to explain it, but there's a price increase involved in that, and I think some of that chunk will be including the Premier League football matches as well.
Well,
Um,
yeah, they're giving Premier League a lot of money.
yeah, I think $2 billion. I think it is. Are you gonna find it, Tom? Or
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. They're hiking the price to how much? So it's gone to $7.99, and premium is $13.99.
yeah.
Right, okay. The thing is, right? So if you're paying say £8 a month, right?
Hmm.
It just I'm not going to tell people how to spend their money, but if you are just going to pay for it on a monthly basis anyway, just get the year annual price for $80, because then you're getting 2 months for free.
Hmm. Well, I believe I pay like seven something a month. I don't know how much I pay, but I get ads, so I think it is 15 something dollars a month.
If you're getting the ads, then you're paying what is now $7.99, but it would have been $5
Hmm.
or $5.99, something like that. Also, the like I pay for my Disney Plus subscription for a full year, right? And I know this sounds really silly, but then if they do announce a price increase and you're paying monthly, you will start paying the new price immediately. Whereas if they announce a price, basically, if I pay my year in January, let's say for argument's sake,
Hmm.
but if they announce the price increase in February, I then still get the old price for 11 months.
You really?
That's the economics of it.
Hmm.
Because you're going to end up paying it anyway.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I recognise that I'm not trying to sound privileged. I recognised that you know people have expenses like cost of living, and it's
Hmm.
easier to spread it across a monthly thing. But you can actually save yourself money by paying the year in advance. If you know you're going to have it for a year, pay the year in advance, because
Right.
you will save yourself money in 8 months' time. I know people are going to go, oh, but I don't have the 80. Like, I appreciate that. Like, I'm not saying you're poor or an idiot if you can't. That's not my point. I'm just saying, I'm just saying you'll be less poor if you did that.
Right. So Tom, so I know we had your first ever Tom's movie corner on Monday night. So have you seen any good movies lately?
Do excuse me, I dropped my typical. Sorry, sir. I may have. I've dropped the lid for my.
Pepsi Cola.
Yeah, basically. Anyway, so I've got to be careful. Um, the last movie I watched was called Boy Kills World. It was good. Last movie I watched before that, I watched a movie called Civil War with
All right.
Kirsten Dunst, and I think his name's Wagner Mora. He basically was the guy who played Santos, not Santos. He played Pablo Escobar in Narcos.
Okay.
But so it was a good film. Also watched Godzilla, X Kong, whatever. Basically, it was massive CGI fest. I mean, it was fine. It was fine, but yeah. I tell you, one of my favourite movies of this year was a movie called The Beekeeper with Jason Statham,
All
being
right. Yeah.
Jason Statham, like as in like there'd be he was a beekeeper. He literally kept bees, but he was also a beekeeper, a secret organisation that operates outside of the government, but with the government's knowledge, where they basically do things that the government can't do. And basically, a company, the lady, a lady like rented him a room or something, like an old lady, but she got scammed by a internet scamming thing where they basically took. She was in possession of like $2 million for a charity, and they stole it. So she killed herself.
Holy
He
shit.
found these people. They picked the wrong old woman, to put it kindly, to scam, because a lot of people would have been alive if they hadn't chose this woman. And then the government had to step in because he was killing too many people. And they were like, we need to stop him. He's just a beekeeper. To which then Jeremy Irons is sat there going, oh, you're all special forces, are you? You're all going to stop him. Compared to him, you're all pussies. Brilliant. I don't spoil it for you, but there's nothing really spoiled. Basically, it's like a revenge movie, and he gets revenge, and it goes far up the political chain, like further than you could ever imagine. It's brilliant. I loved it. It's ludicrous, and I can't wait for the Beekeeper 2.
Is there a part two?
Oh, there's no way there's not going to be a part 2.
So Tom, give us a review on Civil War.
Again, it's not for everyone. Like, a lot of people go, this is actually quite boring or whatever. But I found it interesting because it was something you don't really get to see much. Like, basically, they're a group of photographers, and there's a civil war going on in America where basically California and Texas have like seceded from the United States. Like, they don't recognise the government. So there's a literal civil war going on. And these group of like Kirsten Dunst and Pablo Escobar are playing they're news reporters basically, but they wanted to cover this war. So you're seeing what it's like for people that are covering a war but working for the press, and the shit they get into, and because they wanted to interview the president, but knew it'd be difficult to do so and stuff like this. But no, it was fine. It was genuinely fine.
And the other movie, Boy Kills World.
I like Boy Kills World, but it was again, it was like a boy who like his parents had been killed when he was younger, and he wanted revenge, and Sarah, and he was training with a mysterious shaman, and it's very violent. Lots of it's so gory that it becomes funny rather than like disgusting. You get what I mean? It's one of those where like the blood is so over the top. I still wouldn't show it to kids like that. That's not what my point is. But you go, it's like it gets to the point you get used to it, I suppose. But you're just like, oh, okay. You just cut that person's arm off like it was a knife through butter. Okay.
So basically, it's not one of those where the parents thought it'd be a good idea to take their kids to see Deadpool.
They wouldn't. Their kids would not get into this movie, I can tell you. But no, it was. I'm not a great movie reviewer because I try to enjoy a lot of movies, even ones that are probably not very good. I try and find like the redeeming quality, like because someone made it. Like, I always try to think in the back of my mind, even if it's Michael Bay, who's an absolute twat or whatever, right? And like everything's like explosions, man, and what more explosions, right? A human being had a vision and put that vision on the screen, which is more than I've ever done. And that's not true. That's a lie, because I have put stuff on the screen. Maybe not to the level they've done it, but you know what I mean.
It's funny, Tom, because one of my favorite directors, can you guess who it is?
You're going to say Martin Scorsese.
I am not.
You're going to say
My
Quentin Tarantino.
No, actually, no, Tom.
Okay.
I was gonna say, well, I had two actually.
Now go on. Who is it?
One of them is called Francis Ford Coppola,
Ah, Godfather.
and well, yeah, and the other one is Michael Mann.
Ah.
Yeah,
Michael Mann of am I right thinking he made Manhunter and Heat?
yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, good stuff.
So, so he to this day is still one of my favorite movies, Tom. And the way he outlines or shoots downtown LA is pretty remarkable. And the hills and the music, the beats, having Moby play some of the music in that movie is pretty incredible.
I do
Also,
apologise. I am listening. I'm just gonna go looking for this bottle cap.
okay, no problem. And one of my favorite directors, people would think, well, Francis Ford Coppola made The Godfather. Well, he also did Apocalypse Now, which to me is a great movie. And he also did The Outsiders, which to me is a great movie as well. It was like one of those movies that was a great film or novel to film adaptation. And he also did Bram Stoker's Dracula, rather. That was a novel to movie film. Um, so yeah, though I think Francis Ford Coppola does a great job of turning novels into movies or having novels made into movies adaptations. Um, Michael Mann just captures a lot of scenery and uses a lot of noise influence to make his movies great. Um, I have yet to see Miami Vice, and I have yet to see um, the Tom Cruise movie with Jamie Foxx. But
Excuse me. Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx. Why does that sound familiar? Is that Collateral?
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's very good.
Is it really?
Good movie. It's it, maybe fun's not the right word to use, but it's good. It's not a waste of 2 hours. Tom
Right.
Cruise is
So
very good in it, to be fair.
is it really? Jamie Foxx is too, right?
Yeah, Jamie Foxx good and everything though.
I wonder where I could find that movie at all.
It'll be out there somewhere.
Right. So Tom, you did this for 2 hours, man. Quite impressive. I
Yeah,
appreciate you coming on, Tom.
no problem.
So Tom, where can your viewers find you this week?
Almost certainly going to be on the Full Nelson podcast tomorrow from 10 p.m. in the UK, which I believe is 5 on the eastern seaboard.
Mhm.
We'll also be doing. There's going to be some sort of like road trip on Saturday, which will I'm almost certainly merge into a watch along for the backlash. That being said, I'm probably also going to do a lead show on Sunday night for the Southampton game. That being said, whatever happens, happens. But thank you for having me on. It's been a good chat as usual.
You got it, pal. Thanks, Tom, for being my co-host tonight. It means a lot. Thank you for having being on tonight. I know not feeling that great, but I appreciate it anyway. My next podcast will probably be next Wednesday. Sunday I'm working, so maybe I'll do one a little bit later on the day. But you can find me on Tom's watch along on Sunday night as we do the backlash watch along. Looking forward to that. And tomorrow night I may be able to be on the Arsenal fan circle. Now, whether or not Ray will be on or Gary will be hosting is up to them. Um, yeah, so looking forward to weekend, Tom. Good to see you, and to everyone, have a good night, and see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye bye now.